Welcome to Moonscapes. We are in Terryville, Connecticut. Very, very cold, chilly, breezy, windy night. Temperature's probably dropping down now into the teens. Feels much colder. We're looking at a moon which is probably now about 3 days away from being the February full snow moon. The name of the February full moon. And might be quite appropriate this weekend as we're expecting another storm here in the Northeast. This one could be a combination of snow, rain, everything. If we get anything, I hope it's snow. Snow's better, easy to move than 3 or 4 inches of snow and a couple of inches of rain on top of it, and it weighs about 5 tons. Don't like that. Anyway, we got the moon sitting on the screen here. We are on Mare Imbrium area. Notice over there near 10 o'clock, that's Sinus Iridium, that C-shaped object. And the bottom of the C is Promontory Laplace, and the top point of the C is Promontory Herculeum, or Tranquillatis. Notice we got some decent color in there. I've got to try to play again with this mount. Those of you who have seen a couple of my videos know that right now I'm working with an Orion Skyview Pro mount. Nice little mount for observing, but it's not the greatest for remote control like I'm doing now. The controls are very, very sluggish. And I have a much better Atlas mount, which I hope to start putting to use as soon as the weather gets a little warmer. That Atlas mount, you have to keep it fairly warm. If you have a means of warming it during this weather, it will work. But if you should leave it out overnight with no means of heating the main body of it, the grease inside that they put in it is terrible. And I never bothered changing it. Some people go in and change the grease. I didn't. And the grease hardens up so bad that it just freezes the mount into place, and it doesn't work properly. So we're stuck with the Orion Skyview Pro. It'll work for now. Notice the blue color I have in here tonight. There's a lot of controversy about the color of the moon lately. A couple sites I've seen, there's a couple fellows on there that really big on color of the moon, and NASA lying to everybody about the color, and it's not really a gray, dull moon, but it has a lot of color. And if you look at this, you can almost see what they're saying. If I take this color intensity, and let's play with it a little bit. Notice if I go up, notice those colors get deeper, but notice it turns also kind of a reddish or pink in the middle. Now you know that's not real. That's really fake. Bring it back down and bring it up at about 50%. You notice it has that bluish tone, grayish tone in the C area, the Mare area. It looks pretty nice, and in some sense there may be some color there that we're really enhancing nice. I have seen some color work done with CCD cameras where the color has been really pushed and enhanced, and we do get some color, but not overblown amounts where it's really, really pushed high. This color right here might be about as high as I would ever want to push the color on the moon. It's really kind of a pretty looking moon with this color, but I don't think quite overdone. We bring it down here. Those of you who watched my last, that's actually where we are. That's the sea, Mare Tranquility and Mare Serenitatis. The grayish one to the left, I believe, is Serenitatis. The bluish one to the right is Tranquility. Notice the dividing line between the two, very sharp, and notice that there is a color difference, and that matches very well some other videos that I saw. I think, as I was about to say, those of you who watched my last video, we were going to talk about lunar cities that Franz Gerthersen had mentioned, lost lunar cities, and I mentioned about probably about 30 seconds into the video that I didn't think we were going to be able to get to do those cities because of some problems I was having. And those of you who maybe backed out right away and didn't stay with it, probably should have, because about 90 seconds later I ran into a crater that I recognized that I was looking for, the crater Murchison and Pallas, and that was right in the area of his supposed lunar cities. And we took a look at that area. Didn't see anything that was really suspicious, but a couple things that I guess you could say that were suspicious, and when you look at it visually with a telescope. I'm kind of hoping that maybe there's somebody out there that might be able to help me. I'm old school. I went to school back when the computer was a graphite pencil on one end and an eraser on the other. The fact that I'm using this computer and putting videos up on YouTube is really kind of floors me. And that's about as much of computers as I know. The software that I'm using to download or to upload these videos, as we'll search around here a little bit, to YouTube, is the Logitech software that comes with this C910 camera. There's the crater Copernicus coming into view just a little bit right of and upper right of center. Notice that nice ray pattern there. That's really pretty nice. And I like the software. It's easy to use. It's very easy to upload the videos to YouTube. And notice now, see that drifting I got, and I can't eliminate it. I'm trying to stop it from drifting. That's the mount again. I'm trying to get it to go back the other way. Give me a second here, and it might start going. And there it finally goes. And the problem I have with the Logitech software is it works very well, but the preview screen that I'm looking at right now is probably, I don't know, probably smaller than a 4x6 picture print that you look at when you look at somebody's photographs. It's not very big, and it makes it a little bit difficult to look at detail and to discuss it with somebody. I was just wondering if there was somebody out there that might have some ideas on, I'll zoom on this a little bit, that's about as much zoom as I can get, have any idea out there on software programs that might be good for capture and upload to YouTube. I know there's a program out there called Debut, and this fellow down in Texas that I've been following claims he bought it for, I think, like $30 at the time. I looked at it last night and got online, and you can download, I think it's a 15-day trial period for free, and then if you want to buy it, it's now $60. I mean, it's not an outrageous price, but that's $60 today, $60. And I just wonder if there's anybody out there who has any comments about about software for capturing and uploading to YouTube. Give me a shout on my on the site, and just let me know about them. Let's zoom along here a little more. That crater off to the deep, up against the shadow of the moon. I don't have my maps really ready again tonight. That is the problem I'm having actually is my son and I, a shed I'm using, we fooled around for over an hour with different setups using a straight through so the maps would line up, and nothing really worked really well, so I went back to the original setup with the diagonal. The problem is you get a reversed image and everything on your maps is backwards, so you've got to look at the map and kind of reverse in your mind everything. And now I know. Now I think I know what I'm looking at. Okay, I'm like I say, everything is backwards here, and I'm trying to convert it in my mind. And I believe that is Aristarchus over there, up at 11 o'clock, almost out of the edge of the field. I'm trying to bring it down with this mount, and it is right on the Terminator tonight. I believe, yeah, yes, that is that's Aristarchus. And Schroeder's Valley, which is a very interesting feature, is just in that shadow and not quite visible tonight. Notice that flashing I have on the screen there tonight. That has to do with the brightness of the moon and being on the edge. and it kind of offsets the camera. It kind of confuses it a little bit, and you get this flashing now and then. It was so cold out there that I nearly froze my fingers off, and I've got the camera set in place, and it's actually kind of set off angle. I like to put the camera at right angles with the axes of the telescope, so when you press the button on the remote control, it'll go up with the up arrow, down with the down, and so forth, left and right. But the camera's kind of tilted, and that's why I'm having a little bit of trouble with this movement. I believe there we have Mare Humorum. I believe that's Gassendi crater right there. And we'll move up along what's visible of the Terminator tonight. Notice the scene here. This is typical Connecticut scene. It's just boils away. We do not get good seeing. And there's Tycho coming into view. Down off center towards 4 o'clock in that bright white area. Let's fool around the exposure a little bit and see what we got. And darken it up a little bit. That doesn't do too much. I just want to see if we can make that. That's too much. Make that stand out a little better. It's not responding very well to control. There, and then let's drop the exposure a little bit. Yeah, it's very tough. You can see it a little better there. Notice the ray pattern. Very nice. The ray pattern on Tycho is one of the most extensive on the moon. And that ray pattern that goes off to the left over towards 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish. Notice it looks dual and parallel. That's a little hard to understand what happened there. The ray pattern actually goes out in all directions out of Tycho. The only thing that I can think of there is when whatever hit there, there may have been a mountain or formation or something that might have blocked some of the debris and made that part of that ray look like a parallel line as it went out. Let me go over here. And we get over to this side, and we're into the side where the sun is in very, very high sun angle, and we don't get much detail here. But notice also when we come over this way, we've gotten to this part. We lost a lot of that color. The color is more gray here, and I'm going to try to fool around a little bit, and I'll push it up, and I'm up over 60, about 70% now. And it just isn't much color there. It wants to go rosy pink, and that's not true. So let's just drop that back down and continue moving around. Okay. I was really hoping to have a little better performance out of my eyepiece set that I'm using. I'm using a set of Orion Stratus eyepieces. They are 68-degree apparent field of view eyepieces. And for some reason, I have a 21 millimeter, which we're using now, that gives all kinds of zoom. In fact, well, I'll back out and show you. I mean, here, you can see the zoom I have with this eyepiece. I've got a tremendous amount of zoom. And I'll put the 13 millimeter eyepiece in, and I have to zoom all the way in to get rid of the vignetting all around the edge of the field. And then you're stuck with just the closest in setting and looking at the moon with just the highest setting. So I've got some work to do on that situation to find out what eyepieces and what combinations and maybe borrows might work better. This mount just is really giving me a real hard time tonight. Like I said, I know it's cold out there, and it's probably got a lot to do with it. It just doesn't even want to respond. You can see it's trying to run away with me, so I'm going to have to kind of keep this kind of short tonight. Let me try this other one. Let's see if I can bring it back up before I lose it completely. She's really drifting away here fast. Here we go. We got it back. And I just want to get down to the We're in the southern highlands now. I want to get down to the northern side of the moon before I finish this off tonight. Again, see that mount? It just, you can never remember which way is which. It goes in the opposite direction when you go in declination control. There we go. There's our that feature there. That's very, very interesting. Why you have that color variation and that dividing line between those two mare? That's just it's amazing, and there definitely is a color difference there. You can see that the brown on the left and the blue on the right hand side. Notice right down at 6 o'clock is Tranquillatis. That's one of my favorite craters. Look at the spray pattern on that impact. It's over near 5 o'clock now, near the bottom. That's again, I think I've mentioned it before. It's an impact, a very, very low angle, and it sprayed debris out. Almost nothing going up towards the top of the field, and everything kind of out 90 degrees to either side, and then straight out into the floor of Mare This, which is, let's see if I can get it to go, there it is. There's Mare This. That's one of my favorite features on the moon. Okay, and let's just, for giggles here, let's just play with the color here for a second and see what happens. Turn the color up there. You can get a little bluish tinge out of it. Not a lot. And if we drop it back down, you get more of the normal look. Nice detail in that area of the moon. Even though it's we've lost all shadows there because as we're approaching full moon. And if I'm quiet, can you hear that wind whipping outside? It's whipping by, and I'm surprised the telescope isn't really rocking and rolling more than it is. Some of that movement is the wind whipping. What is nice about what you're seeing right here on this part of the moon is all those white, the little tiny white spots. Those are impact craters. They're very small, and white like that generally indicates very fresh. So those are all younger impact areas on the moon. Here coming in slowly over across the 9 o'clock area on the left hand side is Mare This. Plato, the big black, dark floored crater, is drifting from the top. And I'm not doing anything right now. The mountain is still just drifting on its own. So I think at this point we're going to think about ending this because the mountain is just giving me too much trouble with his weather conditions, and it's not really controllable. One thing I did want to mention, though, let me see if I can just stop this movement first before I finish up. And we'll keep it on the promontory place in the Herculeum area of the moon as I end up. And see, I can't even get this mount to stop right now. It wants to keep drifting down. There we go. I think I got it back. Okay. One thing I wanted to get to tonight, and we're not going to do it. We're going to have to do it on another night when the moon is close. Probably 1 or 2 more days older than this, closer to full moon. There's an area called the Mare Hills area of the moon. There looks like a lot of volcano domes and cinder cones there. One of our Apollo missions landed there. And that is another area that our friend Gersine and also Schroeder, back around 1800, suspected seeing what they called the white cities of the moon. Another area of the moon that they claimed had structure to it, and that there were beings there. And it's a very interesting history, as I said before. And it's kind of fun to go into those areas and look at them and see what structures are there, see what they're looking at, and see if you can find anything that even resembles a rectangular building. So we'll have to make plans to do that one of these nights, and when we can get the telescope up and when it behaves a little better. Probably back when I get the Atlas mount working, where I have much better control of it, we can give that a shot. So anyway, with that, I guess I'll wrap this one up tonight. Thanks for watching. Clear skies, good health, guys, and I hope you join me again next time. See you then.